Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Crystar reaction. We are here at 3 of 3 finally, and I did re-listen to both Prison and Trickstar, and let me tell you, I missed some stuff from the last video. I actually, re-listening to them today and prep for this one, noticed some motif stuff in Trickstar that I didn't recognize from the first one somehow, but I just happened to pick up on them this time between Prison and Trickstar. So now that I've heard that, I'm hoping that I pick up on it this time if there are any. I'm assuming there will be if they're supposed to be related like Yeet God said, so here we are hoping that that's going to happen, but I'm going to listen to this and see what I hear and give you my opinion as always, and without further ado, let's go! Oh! Already. I'm already hearing it start to weasel in there with the motif. It wasn't a direct motif, but it was referencing it for sure. We might get a more solid one later. The name makes me wonder what's happening there. Traitor. I'm trying to let that form an opinion in my head, because it gives me a little context, which is useful. So far, I'm just kind of bopping to it. Ooh, nice sweep there. Ooh. Ooh. Lots of dissonance there. Holy hell. That's a wobbly synth. Yeah, they seem to be sticking to the slightly altered variation of that motif. A tonal shift, here we are. Ooh, big tone shift. Is this where the traitor is revealed? Or maybe a fight begins? Yeah, things got more serious quick. I think that's a little bit of Trickstar in there. That wildness reminded me of Trickstar. Maybe this is more involved and intertwined than I thought. Honestly, I'm really impressed with how reserved it is compared to what it could be, especially after Trickstar. It's still a little wild, but it's almost like it has a purpose. That might have something to it. I'll talk about that afterwards. A major lift. Okay. I thought this was going to end on a more negative note, but that just kept climbing up in energy and tone. That didn't go down. I thought it was going to go south. Well, now I'm confused because I legitimately thought that song was going to end in a more like somber sort of note or like a negative energy than it ended up in. It ended up lifting all the way to the end instead of going down. I thought at least we would go up and then like resolve to a more negative tone there, but that didn't happen. And like I said, I was going to talk about this, but I realized something while listening to this, that Prison, Trickstar, and then Traitor, those names are obviously very specific, just like a lot of names are for any song. They tend to tell you the general idea or concept of it. And I think that that is the case here, but also I'm kind of getting this in an unconventional sort of way. I'm just listening to the music and utilizing what I hear in that in the context of it. The first song felt like it was a prison break to an extent. It felt almost like somebody was trying to build up the energy or the courage to leave them or get themselves free from something. It had that sort of build to it. There was a tension that was being built on, and it ended kind of on a high note. And I'm like, okay, so what's going to happen next? It made me interested. Trickstar was kind of nonsensical, and that might be trying to reference the stress that the character was kind of feeling at that time. Maybe they were constantly on the run, something like that. I think I had a similar thought at the end of that video, but also my memory is kind of shoddy on it already from what I said last time. But this song then makes me feel like there was a realization and like a pivot that happened, and I don't know if that was all positive. Like, it ended, like I said, kind of more on a high note than I thought, but also the rest of the song really wasn't. It had tension, it had clashing, it had dissonance in the music. It just wasn't something you would conventionally call a really positive song. There was a lot of crunch going on in here, and I think that that was intentional, of course, as well. I think that this might have been somebody kind of falling in a way, like a fallen angel sort of situation where like they were good, now because of what they've done in the past, they are falling, and like their mental state might be like shifting or triggered in some way to change who they are and affect their personality. And then at some point, kind of near the latter half of this, maybe the latter third, that started to shift again, and the tone started to get a little bit more intricate, and you start going, okay, well, maybe this character is trying to claw their way out of it, or somebody is fighting the character that did fall. And the ending of the song is kind of signifying a win there in the good way, like whatever was going wrong has now been reconciled, has been set free, has been solved. Whatever synonym for the situation works fits there. I think that that's what's happening here. That ended on too high of a note compared to the rest of the song for me to think of much else. I think this was a character that was good, went through a lot of shit, had to stress through it all, maybe got in with bad people or did a bad thing, and then at the end, either another character ended their life because they needed to for the greater good, or maybe the character themselves were able to claw out of whatever that negative state was that basically maybe almost caused the world to end. You know, like it could have been that large of a scale. I don't know how big of a game this is, and I have figured out it's a game since I've done the other two, but like, I don't know how large the story goes. I don't know what the scale is here. So like that could very well be, or it's a lot smaller scale and it's more of like a local situation. Could even just be personal, but it did that really well. It was able to tell the story in these three parts that I didn't expect. I really, especially after Trickstar, was very nervous that this was even going to have contextual relevancy at all, but I think it does. The fact that they all connect with the motif, at least slightly, this one kind of skewing the overall sound of it a little bit. I think Trickstar did that too, but it was a much more like, it was closer to a one-to-one motif use. This one utilized a slightly different scale and approach for that, so that signifies a change in mentality or situation being negative compared to what it was. A bunch of that. I'm kind of yapping here, but that's also what I do on this channel. This is really cool because I legitimately did not think it was going to pan out and tell a full story, and I did honestly underestimate Yeet God for putting these three together, thinking that they wouldn't for some reason after the last one because I was so confused by that, but this cleared it up, and re-listening to them and hearing that motif tie those two together, they all fit together, so it all makes sense now. I think it's weird that I didn't really realize that until the very final one, But I guess that's what happens when you really don't get the full picture the first time around. That just proves to me even further that it's always worth a second listen. It's always worth taking a little bit of extra time to analyze and think about things and give it a second chance. Never just immediately judge a book by its cover. This is a perfect example of that, and it did the story thing so well. I don't know if I'm right on the story, of course, but I'm figuring it's at least in the ballpark given what I know now about those songs and how they fit together. So yeah, this nailed it. I've never seen Crystar. I still don't know what it is. I think it's a JRPG. I'm pretty sure it's a JRPG. But I'm still impressed that only after 3 songs, I think I got an entire character's like life story, or at least a good portion of their character arc in that, just the 3 songs. Like, that's really cool. And to that end, I gotta give credit to Sakuzyo, the composer of all these songs. Really good job at tying all that together and kind of catching me off guard with the conclusion there. That was really well done. Congratulations. You deserve a clap, and I will give you one. But I think that'll be it for this video. I've yapped plenty about this game and about these songs, so thank you all so very much for watching. If you have anything else you want me to get to from Crystar, or anything else that this composer has done, please let me know down below, and I will do my best to get to it as always. And if, like Yeet God, you want to guarantee that I listen to something, you can go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships. There are tiers that will guarantee a listen and a reaction out of me. I don't care what it is. I don't care how cool it is. I don't care how stupid it is. I'll listen to it, I'll give it a shot, and I'll make a video for it. But otherwise, if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for the other stuff in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!